Hello, my name is Ansh Patel, and this is my presentation about the butterfly effect, and why I believe you should always wait 5 seconds before making any choice in your lives. So I'm going to start by talking about World War I, which may seem a bit weird, but just stay with me here. So I'm sure as many of you know, World War I started when Archduke Franz Ferdinand, who was the Archduke of Austria-Hungary, took a wrong turn in Serbia and was assassinated by Serbian nationalists. This led to a war breaking out between Austria-Hungary and Serbia, and then their allies soon joined in, leading to World War I, one of the most bloodiest and to most terrible conflicts in the entire world. This led to over 40 million people dead, just because of one wrong turn that the Archduke took while traveling in Serbia. This is an example of the butterfly effect. It is a phenomenon where small events and actions, which seem almost insignificant and feel like they can have no possible, meaningful outcome, can actually have a significant, meaningful outcome that I like to think about as a domino chain. But as you see here, this small domino, over time, will be able to knock over this large domino, which just shows how small actions and small meaningless things that you don't think about can actually build up over time to have large unintended consequences. The butterfly effect was first discovered by meteorologist Edward Lorenz in the 1960s, when in his computer simulation, he rounded 0.506127 to 0.506, which is just rounding to the thousandths, which most of you probably think is just insignificant and can't have any difference in his simulation at all. However, instead of the round, spherical shape that he was supposed to get, he got this butterfly shape, which led to the name the butterfly effect, as this was completely unexpected and was just because of his rounding, which most of you probably wouldn't even think have any difference. So some examples of the butterfly effect in nature are how a seagull flying over the Gulf of Mexico could cause a hurricane in Florida, just because of the way the seagull flaps its wings and moves just that little bit of air, and how that little bit of air could help cause a hurricane. However, the main and most widespread and popular example that Edward Lorenz used to share his theory was the idea that a butterfly in Brazil could just, by flapping its wings, cause a tornado in Texas, using the same idea as a seagull. Just that little tiny bit of air that the butterfly moves while flapping its wings could cause an entire tornado. So why should you even care about the butterfly effect? How does it apply to us? Well, we make millions of decisions every day, almost 13 million to be exact. And each one of these decisions could have unintended major consequences that we couldn't even realize at first, but just build up over time. One example of this is this 9/11 survivor, who during the events of 9/11 was pregnant, and she was just too tired to climb to her normal dining spot at the 72nd floor of the Twin Towers. So instead of waiting in the elevator line to go all the way near the top, she decided to just take a shorter line to go to the 6th floor to eat breakfast instead, as it would just be more convenient, and she was feeling tired due to her pregnancy. However, this would save her life when the first plane crashed into the North Tower of the Twin Towers, as she was able to quickly evacuate and save her own life, which she probably wouldn't have been able to do if she was still on the 72nd floor. However, most of these examples, like World War I and being a 9/11 survivor, probably won't ever apply to you all. So I'm trying to start out with a more relatable example that I'm pretty sure all of you have gone through at some point. So when I was creating this TED Talk, it was a snow day weekend. We had Friday off, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were just covered in snow, freezing outside, and I was just having a fun time with my friends. However, I was just having fun with my friends all day. I didn't even think about do my homework. I just forgot about it all until Sunday. Or Sunday afternoon, I had to start doing all my homework, starting from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. This meant that I just had to stay inside basically all of Sunday, be miserable, and just work away 24/7. I could have just easily avoided this by just doing an hour of work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and just spreading out my schedule evenly, which would mean that I would be happier on Sunday, and that my work would be higher quality as well. So what did I learn? So small choices can have really major unintended consequences, even if you don't think so. And that it's always better to just think through the actions that you have and see whether they can have large consequences that can negatively affect you in the future, and whether there's a way to avoid that. So one thing I found out is that you should try waiting 5 seconds before making any choice, because that 5 seconds is enough time to prevent you from making irrational, rushed, and hasty choices that could really affect you in the future. Like, I've tried this for a few days, and while I haven't noticed any immediate changes, one thing that I've noticed is that at the end of the day, when I'm going to bed, I just realize I'm making less choices I really regret. Like, I'm just making less small mistakes that build up. I'm just overall really happy with my actions. So why should you think for 5 seconds? Well, many of the small choices that you make could easily have large unintended consequences that you don't even think about. Like, for example, just eating too much lunch one day could make you throw up during your big football practice or soccer game, and you could lose your entire game, get kicked off the playoffs, and even worse. So just think for 5 seconds before making any choice in your lives, as it could really help you. Just avoid choices that you regret in the future, and just help you be happier with your day-to-day lives. Yeah, thank you for listening, and this is my work cited.
Great talk. Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.